Victoria James sat by the window of the airplane, staring down at the vast land of Nigeria. It had been over 20 years since she left. Now, she was returning, not as a little girl, but as a woman with a dream. Growing up in London, Victoria had always felt like she belonged somewhere else. Her mother spoke Yoruba at home, cooked traditional meals, and dressed in colorful Ankara prints. But outside their house, she was just another black girl in a foreign land. She became a fashion designer because of her mother. Mama had a way of making old clothes look new. She would take ordinary fabric and turn it into something magical. Victoria watched and learned. Soon, she was designing her own dresses, drawing sketches in her school notebooks. Now, after years of working in Europe's fashion industry, she wanted something more, something real. She wanted to design a collection inspired by her roots. She wanted to use the rich fabrics of Nigeria, Oshoke, Odre, Kente, and tell stories through her designs. But she was also nervous. She barely knew her extended family. She had not spoken Yoruba fluently since she was a child. And she had heard stories, whispers about family secrets and tensions in her mother's village. As the plane landed in Lagos, Victoria took a deep breath. She was ready. Or so she thought. Stepping out of the airport, Victoria was hit by the humid heat. The air smelled of fried plantains, exhaust fumes, and something she couldn't quite place. "Madam, taxi." A man in a yellow shirt waved at her. Victoria pulled out her phone and ordered a ride instead. She wasn't sure she could trust anyone just yet. Lagos was loud and alive. Cars honked endlessly, street vendors shouted, and bright fabrics flowed from market stalls. She had seen pictures, but nothing compared to experiencing it. Her driver, Tunde, was a chatty man. "Madam, you be Nigerian?" he asked, his eyes on her through the rearview mirror. "Yes," Victoria smiled. "But I've been away for a long time." "Welcome home, my sister. Nigeria no dey change. You go like am." She hoped so. Her uncle, Chief Adekunle, lived in Ikoyi, an upscale part of Lagos. He was her mother's elder brother and the only family member who kept in touch. He had arranged a guest house for her stay. "You must rest well," he said when she arrived. "Tomorrow, we will go to Abeokuta, your mother's hometown." Abeokuta. The name sounded heavy with history. Victoria lay on the soft bed that night, staring at the ceiling. She had come for fashion. But something told her she would find more than just fabrics. The next morning, Victoria and her uncle left for Abeokuta. The journey was long, filled with bumpy roads and changing landscapes. "Your mother loved this place," Uncle Adekunle said. "She was a true daughter of the land." Victoria smiled. She wanted to see it through her mother's eyes. As they entered the town, she noticed the old, colonial buildings and the famous Olumo Rock standing tall in the distance. The streets were busy with traders selling handcrafted goods, beaded jewelry, woven baskets, and colorful textiles. Her heart raced as they drove deeper into the village. She was about to meet family she had never seen before. Would they welcome her? Or would the past keep them apart? As the car pulled into a large compound in Abeokuta, Victoria felt her stomach tighten. The place was surrounded by towering mango and palm trees, their shadows stretching across the dusty ground. A group of people stood outside, waiting. Women in bright wrappers and men in traditional agbada watched curiously. A tall woman, with the same sharp cheekbones as Victoria's mother, stepped forward. "You must be Aduke's daughter," she said, her voice rich and firm. "Yes, Ma," Victoria replied respectfully. "I am your Aunt Foloke." Victoria bent slightly, offering a polite Yoruba greeting. Her mother had taught her that much. Her uncle clapped his hands together. "Oh, Foloke, see how she resembles Aduke. Come inside, my dear." As she walked in, she felt the weight of eyes on her. Some curious, some unreadable. Something told her there was more to this family than she knew. That evening, the family gathered in the courtyard. The smell of jollof rice and grilled fish filled the air as stories flowed. Your mother was the pride of this village, Aunt Foloke said. Smart, beautiful, and talented. But when she left for London, everything changed. Victoria frowned. Changed how? Silence. Then an older woman spoke. There was a conflict. A disagreement between families. It was why your mother never returned. Victoria looked at her uncle. What happened? He sighed deeply. It is a long story, my dear. But you will learn, in time. Victoria's heart pounded. She had come for fashion, but it seemed like her mother's past was tied to something much bigger. That night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling. What had her mother left behind? And why did no one want to talk about it? The next morning, Victoria visited the local textile market. Boats of colorful Ankara, indigo-dyed Odre, and richly woven Oshoke lined the stalls. An old woman sat behind one, her hands stained blue from dye. You are new here, she said, studying Victoria. I came to learn about Nigerian fabrics, Victoria replied. The woman nodded, lifting a piece of cloth. This is Odre, made with deep tradition. Every pattern has meaning. This one. She pointed at a swirling design. It means transformation. Victoria ran her fingers over the fabric. It was soft but strong, just like her mother. She had always seen fashion as art. But here, it was more. It was history. She bought as many fabrics as she could, ideas forming in her mind. But as she turned to leave, the old woman stopped her. Be careful, my dear. The past always leaves a mark. Some people do not want it uncovered. Victoria swallowed. She had come for inspiration. But she was beginning to realize she had also come for answers. Victoria returned to the compound with bundles of fabric in her arms. The moment she stepped inside, Aunt Foloke's eyes fell on the indigo-dyed Odre at the top of the pile. Where did you get this? Foloke asked, her voice sharp. Victoria hesitated. At the market. A woman was selling them. Foloke exchanged glances with Uncle Adekunle. That is the fabric of our ancestors, he said. Your mother's people were once the best Odre makers in this land. Victoria's hands tightened around the cloth. So why did she never tell me? Foloke sighed. Because the craft brought both wealth and trouble. Victoria's heart pounded. What do you mean? Her aunt stood up and dusted off her wrapper. Let me show you something. She led Victoria to a locked wooden chest in the corner of the house. Inside, layers of old, folded fabrics rested like sleeping memories. Foloke picked one up, shaking it open. The cloth was old, but its patterns were bold and striking. This was your great-grandmother's work. She was one of the finest fabric makers in the village. Victoria touched the cloth reverently. It's beautiful. Foloke's face darkened. But beauty does not always bring peace. That night, Victoria sat with her uncle and aunt under the old mango tree in the courtyard. Tell me, she urged. I need to know the full story. Adekunle sighed. A long time ago, our family was famous for its Odre designs. The patterns carried messages, stories, prayers, even warnings. Victoria listened closely. But one day, your great-grandmother made a fabric with a forbidden pattern. Forbidden? Victoria whispered. Foloke nodded. Some say it revealed a secret about the king's family. Others say it was a design meant to break a curse. No one truly knows. Victoria shivered in the warm night air. But after that, misfortune followed. There were fights among the elders. People turned against our family. Your mother left because she did not want to be part of the conflict. Victoria's chest tightened. Had she returned to a past that should have remained buried? Determined to know more, Victoria visited the oldest part of the village the next morning. She followed her instincts, walking past rows of red earth houses until she found a small, abandoned hut. The door creaked open. Inside, she found wooden frames, dye pots, and faded pieces of fabric. Dust covered everything. This had once been her family's workshop. She picked up an old piece of cloth with a strange symbol on it, a mix of spirals and lines. It was different from the others. What does this mean? She whispered to herself. A voice behind her made her jump. That is the lost pattern. She turned to see an elderly man standing in the doorway. Who are you? She asked. I am Baba Leke, he said. I was your grandmother's apprentice. Victoria's heart raced. If you want to know the truth, Baba Leke continued, you must be ready for whatever comes with it. Victoria swallowed hard. She had come for fabric. But she was now tangled in a history she could not ignore. Victoria stepped closer to Baba Leke, her fingers tightening around the fabric she had found. What do you mean by the lost pattern? She asked. Baba Leke sighed and sat on an old wooden stool. That design was the last one your great-grandmother made before everything fell apart. It was said to carry a hidden message. Victoria studied the cloth. The spirals and lines seemed more than just decoration, they told a story. What message? She pressed. The old man hesitated. Some say it was a warning. Others believe it held the secret to restoring balance in the village. Victoria's mind spun. Had her great-grandmother left behind a key to healing old wounds? Baba Leke leaned forward. If you are serious about bringing back your family's legacy, you must learn the craft. You must weave your own story into the fabric. Victoria felt a shiver of excitement and fear. I want to learn, she said firmly. The old man nodded. Then come back tomorrow. We start at sunrise. Victoria arrived at Baba Leke's hut the next morning, ready to learn. He handed her a piece of white cloth and a carved wooden comb. Odere is more than fabric. It is identity, history, and power. Every pattern has meaning. He showed her how to fold, tie, and resist-dye the fabric. The process was slow and delicate. The deep indigo dye stained her fingers, but she didn't care. As she walked, she felt connected to her mother, her ancestors, and the land itself. This is beautiful, she whispered as she lifted the cloth from the dye. Baba Leke smiled. You are beginning to understand. But Victoria was not just learning for herself. She had a vision, one that would blend traditional craftsmanship with modern fashion. She would make her own collection, honoring her heritage while creating something new. But she still needed answers. That night, she stared at the lost pattern, running her fingers over the fabric. She had a feeling it was more than just an old design. It was a clue. Determined to uncover the full story, Victoria returned to Aunt Foloke that evening. Auntie, she said, holding up the fabric. What does this pattern mean to you? Foloke's face darkened. Where did you find this? In the old workshop. Foloke sighed, her eyes full of conflict. That cloth caused too much pain. But why? Victoria asked. Her aunt hesitated, then finally spoke. The elders believed this design was a challenge to tradition. They said it questioned the right of the ruling family. Victoria's eyes widened. So my great-grandmother was accused of rebellion. Foloke nodded. And when your mother left, she took the last hope of restoring our name with her. Victoria felt her heart squeeze. She had come to create fashion, but now she was standing in the middle of a forgotten war. And somehow, she knew this lost pattern was the key to everything. She just had to figure out how to use it. Victoria sat under the mango tree that evening, staring at the lost pattern. She had come to Nigeria to create a collection, but now, she felt like she had stumbled upon something much bigger. What if I use this pattern in my designs? She thought aloud. Uncle Adekunle, who had been quietly watching her, spoke. You must be careful, my dear. Some wounds do not heal easily. But fashion is a form of storytelling, Victoria insisted. Maybe it's time this story is told. Her uncle sighed. Then you must be ready for resistance. Some people will not want you to bring back what was forgotten. Victoria understood the risk. But for the first time, she felt like she was designing something with true meaning, not just clothes, but history woven into fabric. She had made up her mind. She would build her collection around the lost pattern. But first, she had to gain the blessing of the elders. The next morning, Victoria and Uncle Adekunle went to the village square. The Council of Elders, a group of wise old men and women, sat beneath a large tree. What brings you here, daughter of Aduke? The oldest elder, Boba Fatai, asked. Victoria took a deep breath and held up the cloth. I want to use this pattern in my designs. I want to tell our story through fashion. Murmurs spread among the elders. Some shook their heads, others whispered to one another. Finally, an elder named Mama Busy spoke. That pattern carries history, both good and bad. Do you truly understand what you are bringing back? Victoria nodded. I do. But I believe our history should not be forgotten. Boba Fatai sighed. If you wish to use it, you must honor it properly. You must complete what your great-grandmother started. Victoria frowned. What do you mean? The old man pointed to the fabric. This is only part of the design. The rest was never finished. A chill ran down Victoria's spine. She had to find the missing part of the pattern. Determined to complete the design, Victoria searched the old workshop again. She overturned wooden crates, unrolled dusty fabrics, and searched every corner. But the missing part was nowhere to be found. Frustrated, she sat on the floor. Then she noticed something. The edge of the lost pattern had faint, unfinished lines. Almost as if someone had started drawing but never completed it. She gasped. Her great-grandmother had never finished the design. Which meant she had to do it. She rushed back to Boba Leke's hut. I need your help, she said breathlessly. The old man looked at the cloth and nodded. Then we must listen to the fabric. It will tell us what comes next. Victoria wasn't sure how, but she knew she was ready. The past had brought her here. Now, it was her turn to weave the future. Victoria sat with Boba Leke, her hands trembling slightly as she traced the unfinished lines of the lost pattern. How do I complete it? She asked. Boba Leke handed her a sharpened stick and a bowl of indigo dye. Close your eyes. Think of what this pattern means to you. Victoria inhaled deeply and let her mind wander. She saw her mother, wrapped in vibrant ankara, laughing as she sewed. She saw the elders, their eyes filled with both fear and wisdom. She saw the village, caught between the past and the future. Then, suddenly, she saw it, the missing design. Her eyes flew open. She dipped a stick into the dye and, with slow, careful strokes, completed the pattern. Boba Leke watched in silence. When she was done, he nodded approvingly. You have done what your great-grandmother could not, he said. This design is no longer just history. It is your own. Victoria's heart swelled. She had done it. But she wasn't finished yet. Now, she had to bring it to the world. Back in Lagos, Victoria transformed her guest house into a studio. She draped fabrics over tables, pinned sketches to the walls, and worked tirelessly to bring her designs to life. Her collection blended old and new, modern cuts with traditional fabrics, European silhouettes with African storytelling. And at the heart of it all was the lost pattern, now fully completed. She named the collection Threads of Heritage. Word spread quickly. A well-known Nigerian fashion editor visited her studio. "This is breathtaking," the editor said, running her hands over the fabric. "You are not just making clothes. You are reviving history." Victoria smiled. "That's the goal." The editor nodded. "You must show this at Lagos Fashion Week." Victoria's breath caught in her throat. Lagos Fashion Week. The biggest stage for African fashion. She had dreamed of this moment. And now, it was within her reach. But not everyone was happy with Victoria's success. Back in Abeokuta, some elders whispered that she was digging up what should remain buried. Others feared that the collection would bring back old conflicts. One evening, Victoria received a call from Aunt Foloke. "Be careful, my dear," she warned. "There are people who do not want this pattern to return." Victoria's stomach tightened. She had come too far to stop now. Still, she knew she had to be prepared for anything. The night of Lagos Fashion Week arrived. Models strutted down the runway in Victoria's designs, flowing Odre gowns, structured Oshoke jackets, and bold Ankara prints. The audience was mesmerized. Then, the final piece appeared, a breathtaking dress with the lost pattern at its center. As the crowd erupted in applause, Victoria felt a wave of emotion. She had done it. She had told the story of her ancestors through fashion. And in doing so, she had reclaimed her heritage. After the show, fashion houses, investors, and journalists flooded Victoria with offers. She had not only made a collection, she had started a movement. But the greatest moment came when an elder from her village approached her. "You have honored our past," he said, tears in his eyes. "You have given us back what we lost." Victoria smiled. She had come to Nigeria searching for fabrics. But she had found something far more precious, her identity. And she knew this was only the beginning.